Does buying an expensive sand wedge guarantee that you're going to get more spin than if you buy a relatively cheap, third of the price sand wedge? Let's find out, and let's do it now. Hi everyone, James Robinson here. If you're new to the channel and this is your very first time watching my content, first of all, welcome to the channel. Second of all, while you're here, please make sure you do consider hitting that subscribe button below. And while you do that, also ring the notification bell. That way you won't miss any of the great golf related content that I bring to you guys every single day. On this channel, I hopefully help you raise your game, generally help you lower that handicap, but mainly just get you enjoying golf more than ever before. And in today's video, we are testing a brand new top of the range Taylormade milled grind 2 wedge, complete with the rusty face and grooves, and we are testing it to see just how much spin you can get with a brand new old Tom wedge, which is a third of the price. Because it's always nice to save money, isn't it? Guys, just before we do start, there is a pretty decent giveaway in this video as well. I have a set of 3 old Tom wedges to give away. I have a 52, a 56 and a 60, all brand new as you can see. Some of them are even still in the wrapper. I have taken out the 56 out of the wrapper so we can obviously use it for this test. But imagine if these wedges win. Imagine if they get more spin than the brand new Taylormade wedges I've just kind of put in my bag as well. So maybe there's a giveaway. No guys, I'm only joking, there is a giveaway. All you have to do, you have to be a subscriber to the channel, so make sure you do that. You have to like this video and you have to comment below Wedges, W-E-D-G-E-S, I think, Wedges. Just comment below Wedges, capital letters, nice and bold, so we can see it. And I will make the draw on my Instagram channel, which is James Robinson Golf. So, I mean, there is some pretty decent stuff on there. Go and follow it if you want, or just keep checking for the update on if you have won these wedges. Now, without any further ado, let's get to the test. And we are testing these two 56 degree wedges with 12 degrees of bounce. They are exactly the same specs. And we are doing 50-yard shots and 100-yard shots. We're going to hit a load of shots with each wedge. I will discount any really bad ones, because obviously we're not testing how good I am at spinning a golf ball. We are testing how good these are at spinning a golf ball and how good these are at spinning a golf ball. Remember guys, these are a third of the price. You can pick up a set of these for £150. Whereas if you go to the wrong place, you might end up paying that for one of these Taylormade milled grind 2 wedges, although they are beautiful. Love that rusty finish. Okay, so we're going to start 50 yards with the Taylormade. You see guys, I'm quite a fan of this 50-yard shot, and you want it to have loads of spin, don't you? You want to be able to send it next to the flag, maybe even spin back a little bit, get some stoppage and really control the shots. For me, for this shot, I feel like I take the left arm parallel to the ground, then just release the club down, and that generally does the work for me. So this shouldn't be too hard to get a nice average of around 50 yards. That one's 52, so we're going to give that a bit of a tolerance, to be fair. Remember guys, this isn't machine testing. Contrary to popular belief, I am not a machine. So again, some of this test will be down to the human aspect, will be down to me, down to how I strike them, but all I can do is promise you that I will try my best with both clubs and try and get a fair result. And I'm sure that's what we're gonna get. Okay, we've hit 550s with the expensive wedge. Now let's go 550s with the cheap wedge. Then we're gonna do the same again, but I'll speed it up because I know you guys haven't got all day, but I want to hit as many shots as possible. But I don't want to hit as many shots as possible so you guys get the best, fairest possible ever results. Guys, also it's a big thing to me that you guys are a part of my videos as always, not only for the giveaway, remember to comment wedges, but also hit the comments below which one do you think is going to win. There should really only be one outcome, shouldn't there? Yeah. Could it be? Okay, last shot that you're going to see for the 50-yard shots, then we're going to hit some 100-yard shots. Then like I said, I'm going to do the whole thing over again. Guys, interestingly, what do you look for when you're buying a wedge? Is spin one of the big things you look for? Obviously, I would have liked to have done this outside and get the camera by the green and see how much they spin back, because I don't really get much of that. I'm quite a low spin player anyway, so it's quite an interesting test for me to see if spending big money on wedges does make a huge difference. But is it all about spin for you? Is it more about looks? Is it more about feel? Is it more about how you can manipulate the wedge and play different shots when you need to? Right, we're digressing. Last shot with this. 50 yards, 50 out of the hole. Oh. So 50 yards is all fun and games, isn't it? We all want to get a little bit of stoppage, a little bit of spin over 50 yards with a sand wedge because, well, more than anything, it's just fun. But over 100 yards, you would expect it to really spin back, wouldn't you? Or you'd hope. you could pray. I don't know, I'm not really that religious, but anyway, you would definitely hope so. So, 100 yards, we're going to start with the cheap wedge, then move into the Taylormade, and we're going to do it now. See guys, this is really an area where you would expect to attack the flag, wouldn't you? You would expect to put it close, you would expect to make birdies, you would expect to give yourself chances at making pars if you've hit a bad approach shot. You see, I'm personally really interested to see what happens here. I've said that so many times today, but really interesting test this. Okay, that's 5 shots hit to 100 yards with the cheap wedge. It's time to spend a bit more money. It's time to go Taylormade with the raw face. Again, how good does that look? I'm going to break my arm to show you, but that looks really good. So just straight away putting this in my hands, it feels heavier, just to give you a bit of feedback on what you kind of probably get for your money. It's got a dynamic gold S200 shaft, whereas the old Tom wedge, we don't really know what shaft's in there, there's no label on it. I suspect it to be some kind of just standard wedge shaft in there. We've definitely got a nicer grip on this in the Lampkin Crossline Genesis. Absolutely love these grips. To be honest, I contemplate putting these on my irons as well because they feel that good. Whereas again with the old Tom, you just get the standard old Tom grip on there. So obviously a little bit cheaper, and there's definitely more weight in the head of the Taylormade wedge. I can just feel it. It feels more comfortable. I can definitely tell where the club head is at certain points in the backswing, and that obviously makes distance control easier, or perceptionally easier. Right, 100 yards, Taylormade wedge. Let's go. 101 to start, how's that? Oh, someone just pick the Pro V out of there for me. Oh. Another 101. You see what I mean about distance control with the more expensive wedge? Okay guys, that is 10 shots hit with both, the expensive wedge and the cheap wedge. 5 over 50 yards, 5 over 100 yards. Now what I'm going to do exactly the same again, but I'm going to speed things up because, like I said, your time is precious and you don't have time to watch me hit a million golf shots with wedges to see which one spins more. Well, it would be nice if you did have time, but we don't all have time, do we? So very, very quickly, here's another 20 shots. That, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that is the strangest introduction ever. Everyone, that is 20 shots hit, I think. No, 40 shots hit. Everyone, that is 40 shots hit over 50 yards and 100 yards with an expensive market-leading wedge and a cheap and cheerful, relatively unknown wedge. Which one is going to spin the most? And can I just say, I absolutely love the feedback this face gives you for the ball residue there. How good does that look? Really enjoyed that. Guys, which one has spun the most? Also, if you've not commented wedges and you want a set of these, feel pretty good to be fair. So for free, get yourself down there, subscribe, like, wedges. Anyway, which one has spun the most? Let's find out. Now, one thing that I found really interesting with these shots is there's your expensive 100-yard wedge, and there is your cheap 100-yard wedge. So look at the difference in trajectory there compared to those two. And then if we look at the expensive 50-yard wedge compared to the trajectory of the cheap 50-yard wedge, both of them, the cheap ones are in way higher, and I did find it a lot more difficult to control distance with the cheap wedge 100%, and that could be something down to the tolerances on the wedges. Obviously you're not paying for as much R&D in there, you're not paying for as much QC in, but what about where it matters? What about the spin rates that we are talking about? So for the cheap 50-yard wedge, like I said, struggled a little bit with distance control as much on there, so I took that one out because it was way higher and that one out, but generally we've got an average of about 50s, close to 50s we can get, so quite happy with that. And a spin rate of 6.679. So if we compare that with the expensive 50-yard wedge, now I've taken one of the high ones out again to make it fairly even. There was one that was a stupidly low spin, which was a misread. No, that was in the other ones. So again, quite good. 49 yards on average over 10 shots, and I found that a lot easier to control. 6,700 on the nose. So if we compare that again to the cheap one, it spins a tiny bit more, but let's be fair, I'm really not going to say that that is spinning more than that, because it is really clutching at straws. Now what about the 100-yard shots? Because this is where it starts to get really interesting, isn't it? So cheap 100-yard shots, all quite, you can see how I sort of got the idea that I had to hit it a little bit harder. So we got the average up to 97 over the 10 shots. So again, if I'm trying to hit 100-yard shots and I get 97 on average out of 10 shots, I'm quite happy with that, with an average spin of 10,229. Now let's compare that with the expensive wedge over 100-yard shots. So much easier to control for me there, sort of knew what I was doing straight off the bat. An average of exactly the same, funnily enough, 97, with an average spin of 10,670 yards. So as opposed to with the cheap wedge 10,229, we have 10,670. So to answer the question which I posed in this video, do expensive wedges spin more than cheap wedges? I suppose you've got to say, well, yes, but not really, because it wasn't a lot. I would like to do this out on the golf course, and it might be something I will do in the future. Guys, let me know, hit those comments below if you would like to see me do this out on the golf course on a chipping green where you can really see the spin differences out of bunkers to full greens. Realistically, I do think the old Tom's put up a very good performance there, and I don't actually think it's the grooves that's potentially let it down for me in this video. There's one thing that's let it down, and that was the difficulty in distance control for it. I don't know if it's the weight, I don't know if maybe the loft needs checking on it. Obviously, you're not paying for the same QC check-in like you are with the Taylormade wedge, are you? So for me, look at the bore residue in there. Sorry to interrupt you all, guys, but there's half a Pro V1 in there, surely, isn't there? So for me, guys, that is what you are paying for with your wedges. You're paying for the R&D, you're paying for the QC. Yes, you're paying for the technology in the grooves, but potentially not so much. You're paying for the feel, the aesthetics, the looks. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I do hope you've enjoyed that. If you have, once again, make sure you do hit that subscribe button. We are well on the way to 100,000 subscribers, and I want you to be a part of it. Also, if you do want a full set of the old Tom wedges, once again, brand new, apart from the 56, which has hit 20 golf shots, you are more than welcome to them. Not in a bad way. You're more than welcome to enter that competition. You just have to be a subscriber. You have to like this video and you have to comment. And you have to comment below wedges, and I will make that draw on my Instagram account in the not too distant future. Guys, thank you once again. It means the world to me that you keep watching, and as always, I very much look forward to seeing you tomorrow.